Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I'll be taking over for McKay today. My name is Shemal Darwish and I'm the Content Marketing Manager at Conversa. We're glad to have you here today. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule to join us. During today's webinar, we're going to be talking about why old school SEO is dying out and the new trends you'll want to keep an eye on. We're excited to have Phil Frost of Main Street ROI with us today. He's partnered with us on multiple webinars and always delivers exceptionally valuable presentations. So we're looking forward to that. We probably have some first-timers with us, so let me explain briefly who Conversa is, what we do, why we do these webinars, and then some housekeeping items before we turn the time over to Phil. First of all, Conversa is a call tracking and marketing analytics provider. So we essentially do three things, and we do them through phone calls. The first thing is we provide basic call tracking data. That's so marketers can track the ads, campaigns, keywords, and channels that produce phone calls. The second thing we do is provide deep conversation analysis. So we analyze phone calls with speech recognition technology to determine what happened on the call. And then the third thing we do is marketing automation, so we can actually automate marketing actions based on the words and phrases said on the phone call. So this is some pretty advanced technology, and it basically boils down to call marketing optimization, and a lot of marketers use us to optimize and streamline their campaigns. The reason we host webinars like this is because it allows us to partner with some really great companies and people. So we'll regularly have marketing experts from all walks of the marketing world join us to present on topics in their area of expertise. And in terms of housekeeping items, yes, the webinar is going to be recorded, so watch for that in your inbox. We'll send a follow-up email that will have the recording. It will also be hosted on our site. So if you go to conversa.com/resources, you can see the drop-down there. Click on webinars. You'll see this webinar appear later today, and the recording will be there as well. Then the other thing to mention is that we do encourage you to ask questions. That's really important. So Phil is going to give a presentation that's in the neighborhood of 25 to 35 minutes long, maybe a little longer. Then we're going to take questions for about 5 to 10 minutes. So please type those questions into the little question bar, and then we'll address those at the end of the presentation. I'll read those verbally to Phil. So in order to practice this, why don't you go to the question bar on the screen right now on your GoToWebinar screen and simply type in where you're calling from, as in, city, state. Just type in where you're located, and that will give you a sense as to where we are, where everybody is, and let me get to know you a little better. So here we go. Looks like we have New Jersey, St. Petersburg, Florida, Lincoln, California, Wisconsin, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, Portsmouth, Virginia. We're all over the map here. That's great. We've got someone right here in Salt Lake City. That's where I am. And Phil is in New York City. Very good. Well, thanks for doing that, everybody. And please type those questions into Phil as we go through the presentation. So with that, Phil, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to make you presenter now. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Great, thank you, Shema. And I saw Kate is from Iowa. My parents are actually originally from Iowa. That's the first time I've seen anyone from Iowa, so welcome, Kate. And thanks for that introduction. Thanks, Conversa, for co-hosting this presentation. Again, we're going to be talking about old school SEO is dead, and I'm going to walk through the 5 new rules to follow. All right, so housekeeping, we already took care of this. Post questions to the Q&A section. Looks like everyone figured that one out. And I also recommend you turn off your email, instant messaging, TVs, radios, Facebook, YouTube. I always put my phone on Do Not Disturb, turn off my mobile phone, and actually I find it best to just take out a notepad, pen, and go old school and take notes. That will allow you to just get the most out of this presentation. All right, here's what we're going to cover. Important Google updates that you need to understand and be aware of. 3 old school SEO tactics to avoid to get you into more trouble than it's worth. 2 tactics that you can use to get ranked in as little as 30 days, the 5 rules that you now need to follow, and how to get started today. And out of respect for everyone's time, I'll quickly go through who this webinar is for. You do need to have a website to implement SEO, so you want to have a website. We do assume that you provide top quality products and services, and that's really, you do need to be at that level of providing, top high quality products and services if you want to have a chance and have long-term success ranking in Google. Sorry. You want to be recognized as the #1 provider. Obviously, you want to be ranked #1, and you want to know what it takes to get ranked #1. That's what we'll be talking about. And you are willing to take consistent action. So I'll go through this later on, but it's worth mentioning here, SEO is not a one-time activity. It is an ongoing marketing tactic. You don't just set it and forget it. This is not for you if you're just looking for tricks to trick Google to give you the #1 spot. There are, quote, black hat tactics that you can use, and that's not what we'll be going over today, because in the long term, Google does catch up with those businesses that use those types of tactics and generally penalize them and kick them out of the first page. And I already mentioned this. This is not for you if you want to set it and forget it type solution or a completely hands-off solution. All right, who am I? Why should you listen to me? If this is your first presentation, again, my name is Phil Frost. I'm the founder of Main Street ROI, and our business provides digital marketing services as well as training, like the training we're doing today. And to date, we've helped over 2,000 businesses with their digital marketing, and my thought leadership has been featured in Forbes, Inc., Amex, as well as Mashable. I'm also the very proud father of those cute kids. This is a very recent photo. I think it was exactly a week ago, last Thursday. I got home from work, walked in on my wife and daughter. It's my wife Erin and my daughter Violet, giving my son Emmett that hairdo there. They were having a pigtail party. And Phil asked a question if this is a offshoot of MainStreetHost.com, and this is not an offshoot of Main Street Host. I'm not familiar with that company. All right, so brief history of Google. This is important to understand what has happened, what are the important updates, and that will allow you to know what tactics are in line with Google's goals, and that's really a key takeaway here. So back in the day, it actually started with Alta Vista. That was a search engine, and SEO was actually super easy. The way it worked was the search engine just would look at a web page and essentially count up how many times a particular keyword was mentioned on that web page, and then if that keyword was mentioned more on a particular page than other pages, that would be the page that was ranked #1. So super easy. Unfortunately, because it was so easy, businesses figured it out and would just start dumping keywords onto their pages and basically spamming the search engine. So it was really easy to get ranked. Because of that, a lot of spam was in the search results. So then Google enters the market back in 1998, and they came into the market with this great algorithm where it didn't just count the keywords on the page, it also looked at other websites linking to the page. And that was a key innovation in the search market. It basically used other websites and tracked those like votes for a website. And intuitively that makes sense. If you have a website that lots of other websites are linking to, those are like votes or referrals, whatever you want to call them. That tells Google, hey, this page, a lot of people respect this page. It deserves to be ranked high in the search results, not just because it has a lot of keywords on the web page. So because of that, the search results were not so spammy. Google becomes the #1 search engine and really hasn't looked back since. And here's another critical point, that the majority of Google's revenue comes from search advertising. So not only did they figure out how to clean up the search results so that they were more useful for people searching, they also started to advertise in the search results by showing relevant offers for when people were searching. And when people clicked on those ads, Google made money, and that became the majority of Google's revenue. So they were dependent on their search engine and very dependent on making sure that users kept using Google to go find information. So that's an important point, that Google's business model depends on people coming back, finding the best information from their search engine. Otherwise, if they don't do that, people are going to think, hey, Google doesn't provide great information, it's full of spam. They'll go to Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine. And because of that, they obviously hired some of the smartest people available to fight any type of spam that could get into the search results. So it's a pretty big uphill battle to try to trick Google. It really threatens their business model. They depend on their users going to Google, searching, and clicking on their ads. And because of that, over time, they have issued a lot of updates. And one that you've probably heard of, or you've probably heard of all of these, there's the infamous Panda update. And this was basically to remove low-quality content from the search results. Over time, businesses figured out, hey, Google is just looking at links. So you could just create some pretty low-quality article, get some links to it, and Google would still be ranking that low-quality article. So people were tricking Google. Google figured it out and issued the Panda update. And then over time, Google figured out, excuse me, people were getting a lot of low-quality links and basically creating their own network of links to point to their own websites. Because of that, again, you already know, if you have a lot of links to your website, Google will naturally rank you higher. But Google started to figure out, hey, we shouldn't count all of these low-quality links that people are getting. Those aren't real votes, especially if the business just created another website and linked to its own website. That's not a real vote. So Google issued the Penguin update and tried to remove all of these, quote, over-optimized websites that didn't really deserve to be ranked on the first page. Another important update is Google Plus. You've probably heard of Google Plus. It's Google's social network. There were a lot of rumors that it was dead not too long ago, and then it was brought back to life, I think about a month or two ago, with a new version of Google Plus. The main point is that Google is still playing in this social media space. They're still trying to compete with the other big social media networks like Facebook. And a lot of this has to do with collecting data and ultimately using that data to improve the search results. So it highlights the importance of social media signals. And then you probably heard of the algorithm update called Hummingbird. And that was a big one where they overhauled their search algorithm. The analogy is taking out the engine of a car and putting a new engine in. And this new engine now understands context of searches as well as synonyms. And a great example is if you're on your mobile phone and you type in places to eat near me, Google can translate that now, and they know you're really just looking for restaurants. So nowhere in that search, places to eat near me, is there any mention of the keyword restaurant, but Google will take that search, interpret it as, all right, this person is looking for restaurants near their particular location. Okay, so based on those updates, here are the old school tactics you absolutely must avoid. And the first one is over-optimized web pages. And I still hear it to this day, people talking about writing for Google. You may have heard of keyword density. And I urge you to just forget about writing for Google, forget about keyword density, and just write naturally. And more specifically, write for your target audience. That's what's going to resonate with your prospects. That's ultimately what will convert those prospects into leads and sales. So that's what you want to focus on with your website copy. And you don't want to keyword stuff. And this is an old school tactic based on how, again, the Alta Vista days when all the search engine looked at were keywords on your web page. People still have that in their heads that, hey, I need to somehow just cram in a bunch of keywords on my page, and that's really not the approach you want to go after. As long as you are creating a page that is highly relevant for the keyword you want to rank for, you're naturally going to write and use that keyword in the copy. So you don't have to force it. I recommend you aim for at least 500 words. That's in line with Google's goal of ranking pages that are going to give their users enough information and really satisfy the user. So if you do not have a lot of words on the page, that is an indication that you're not going to satisfy the searcher with enough information. And then finally, you obviously want to provide valuable information. You really need to, one trick if you want to rank for a keyword is look at what is ranking and then write content, create a page that has better information, more valuable information than the pages that are already ranking. Okay, the second old school tactic you must avoid is self-created links. We already touched on this with the Penguin update. You don't want to buy links. That's actually against Google's terms. You do not want to add links from irrelevant websites. Again, this is related to the Penguin update. If you're, let's say, a dentist, you don't want to go out and get a link on a completely unrelated website, like a website about motorcycles or a sports website that then links to your site. That's going to obviously look spammy. That would be a red flag that you're probably doing something that's not in line with what Google would want you to be doing to get your site ranked. You don't want to use the same anchor text. And if you're not familiar with anchor text, I gave you an example there. Let's just say, again, you're a dentist, and I wanted to link to your site. I might write NYC Dentist and then make that the link. So NYC Dentist, if you click on that, that would then link to your site. That phrase, NYC Dentist, is the anchor text. Google looks at that anchor text, so they read that, and that's another signal to tell Google, hey, what is this website about? What should it be ranking for? People caught on to that, and it became an actual SEO tactic to get a lot of links with the same anchor text, and that was working for a while. But now, with all of these updates, especially the Penguin update, that is another red flag that can actually get you into more trouble than it's worth. You don't want to get links with the exact same anchor text across a lot of different websites. So definitely avoid that. And what I would recommend is really focusing on content marketing, creating and sharing just high value content and using that to naturally get links. So rather than thinking about how you can create links, focus on creating really good content, and in turn, by doing that, other websites will want to link to that content. Okay, the third old school tactic to avoid is unnecessary SEO web pages, and this is related to the Hummingbird update. And the approach you want to use, I'll give you an example of a mistake that businesses use. They'll do the keyword research, find all of the relevant keywords for their industry, and then they will go out and try to create one page for every single keyword. For example, even the singular and the plurals would have different pages. And that actually used to work, but with all of those updates I went through, that's not a relevant tactic. You want to avoid that. And instead, you want to use what I'm calling keyword themes. So you want to group similar keywords together and then just create one page for that group of keywords. So you would not want to create multiple pages for similar keywords like plurals, I already mentioned that, or similar intent. And what I mean by that is if you just think about what it is that that person is actually searching for when they type that keyword into Google. And if they're essentially looking for the same thing, then it's highly likely you want to just have one page for those different keywords that you're trying to target. And here's a very straightforward example. Dentist in NYC is, somebody searching for that it's the same as somebody searching for NY dentists or NYC dentists. All right, so here's some predictions for 2016. Nothing too crazy here. Google will definitely continue to fight SEO spam. I already mentioned any spam in their search results threatens their business model. If they lose users, they lose the search revenue, and that's going to really hurt their business. So they're just going to keep investing and hiring really smart people to fight SEO spam. And what does that mean? Keyword stuffing on your pages, getting unnatural links to your website, and having a lot of unnecessary pages. You'll also see, this should be obvious to most people, that mobile is becoming more and more important. Mobile search actually overtook desktop search recently. So more people are actually searching on their mobiles now, on their mobile phone, and that actually is related to local signals. So people are searching mobile on their mobiles, and mobile has location capabilities with GPS. So Google is now using those signals to rank websites. So it's important to have a mobile presence and a mobile optimized website, as well as be optimized for local SEO. And I mentioned Google's still playing in the social media space, and I do think social signals will become even more important as we progress into 2016. Now, all of this comes down to the misconception that SEO is about tricking Google, and I would argue that it's really more about partnering with Google, and you want to try to help Google help their users. So what are their users trying to find when they search a particular keyword? That is what you want to put on your web pages. And another analogy you can use here is that SEO reflects real relationships, so it should resemble the real world. And as SEO matures, it is starting to resemble more and more closely to the real world. When we started, it was all about just dumping keywords and having really spammy-looking web pages. And now it's progressing. Google can actually understand context and synonyms, and it's much more about creating a really good content and a really good user experience. And you also want, just like you would want buzz in the real world and have people talking about you, online you want people sharing information about you, reviewing your business, referencing your information by linking to your business. This is a great quote from Wayne Gretzky here. A good hockey player plays where the puck is, and a great hockey player plays where the puck is going to be. And that's why I think it's so important for you to understand the history of search engines and understand all of the different updates that have happened to date so that you can play in the SEO world using tactics that are appropriate for where SEO is going to be. All right, so with that out of the way, we'll dive into the 5 rules, aka the 5 R's, to make it easy to remember. And the first R is research. And this is really the first step with any type of search marketing. You need to do keyword research to figure out what your ideal customers are actually searching. And the tool I would recommend you use is Google's Keyword Planner tool. It is 100% free, and you can just go to Google and literally just Google Keyword Planner tool, or even just keyword tool, and it should be the first result. And what you're looking for, it works like a thesaurus. You'll type in some keywords that you think people are searching for. Just type in some obvious ones. And then Google will tell you how many times that particular keyword is searched, and it will show you additional keywords that are related to that and show you how many times those keywords are searched. Obviously, you want to find keywords that have search volume greater than 0, and that means they are in fact being searched each month. If the search volume is 0, that is an indication that very few or no one is actually searching that keyword. The next bullet point there is focusing on buying intent, which is absolutely critical with SEO. Not every keyword is created equally. Certain keywords are going to be more certain keywords are going to be more research oriented, where the person is just doing research, trying to find information. Maybe they're in college they're writing their thesis, so they're not looking to buy anything. And then other keywords have what we call buying intent. And I gave you a pretty straightforward example. Best dentist in NYC has more buying intent than how to get whiter teeth. They're both related to a dentist. So a dentist might put these keywords into the keyword planner tool, might think that those are both good, that they get searched each month. But the reality is the majority of people searching how to get whiter teeth are just looking for information. They're not really looking for a dentist. Whereas somebody searching best dentist in NYC is obviously looking for a dentist and most likely looking to schedule an appointment. And the final question here when you're doing your keyword research is, do you deserve to be number 1? And by that I mean, do you actually offer the information that that person is looking for? Do you actually offer that product or that service that they're looking for? And if you don't, that's going to be an uphill battle, or you have to invest in actually creating that information or having that product or that service. I just saw a question pop up. So I do want to clarify, Google's Keyword Planner tool is actually for Google AdWords. So the data is still relevant for SEO. It's showing you how many times the keyword is searched, but there'll be extra data in there, like the estimated cost per click, and that is related to advertising. So that's not related to SEO. You can ignore the cost per click data. You can also ignore the competition, but I will say that there is a correlation between high competition for Google AdWords, where advertisers are competing heavily to get their business to show up, as well as SEO competition. If a lot of people are competing in Google AdWords, strong correlation between that and a lot of people competing for the SEO organic rankings as well. So you can kind of gauge the SEO competition by looking at the AdWords competition. But I do want to clarify that that data is specifically for Google AdWords, it's not for SEO. Okay, so that's step 1. You need to do your keyword research, ideally finding all of the buying intent keywords that you should be going after. And step 2 is relevance. And by that, we mean website relevance. And this is really marketing 101. You need to match the message that you're going to display on your website to the market. And we talked about this already. You want to pick one page per target keyword theme. So group all of your similar keywords together, and then pick one page on your site if you already have one that exists. In a lot of cases, you won't actually have a page that's relevant for a handful of your keywords. In that case, you'll need to create additional pages. And then to make it relevant, there is a little bit of HTML code that you have to edit. And I promise that this is very easy in terms of coding. Any developer would be able to do this and know exactly what you're talking about. You want to edit the title of the page, and you can see the HTML code there with the less than sign, title, greater than sign. So that's the title. The headers, that's the H1, H2, H3, and then obviously the body copy. So all the content or words that are on the page. You want to write about that keyword that you're targeting, or that keyword, the group of keywords, or the keyword theme that we talked about. You obviously want to write naturally and maintain that same focus on that keyword, but you don't want to stuff the keyword unnaturally into the page. So you do want to use it in the title. That's important. That tells Google that your page is relevant for that keyword. So create a natural looking title with the keyword, and then create natural looking headers that ideally are using a variation of the keyword. And then write naturally about that keyword in the body copy. So the golden rule of relevance here would really be to create a web page that you yourself would actually want to find if you were the one searching the keyword. I think that's a nice spin on how you can approach the page that you're creating. Just put yourself in the shoes of your prospect searching for that keyword, and what is it that you would actually want to find, and what would you need to see on that page, all the information for it to be the best, absolute best page for that particular keyword. Okay, so the third R here is reputation. At this point, we know which keywords we're targeting, and based on those keywords, we've now edited our website to be relevant for those keywords. And now we need to build up what's called your website reputation. And again, we'll use the analogy of your real-world reputation. In the world, you want to cultivate friends and hang out with people that have solid reputations. You don't want to be hanging out with people who have bad reputations that can reflect poorly on you. And the same thing can happen online. If you have links from bad poor websites, I guess I'll say, spammy looking websites, that reflects negatively on you. And if you're linking out to spammy looking websites, that again reflects poorly on you. And you want people, obviously in the real world, to be talking positively about you. And that's where social media can come into play, as well as links. So online, when people are talking about you, they're really linking to you or mentioning your business in forums or on social media. And what this comes down to is really focusing on attracting links versus buying or creating links. And we touched on this earlier. That's an old school tactic you want to avoid. You don't want to buy links. You don't want to focus on manually creating a lot of links to try to trick Google. Instead, you want to focus your time and energy on creating a really great website really great content on your website that other websites would want to link to. Okay, I promised I'd give you a couple tactics that you can use to get ranked in 30 days or less. So I'm going to go through those really quickly here. And the first one is called Piggyback SEO. Now that you understand those first 3 R's, this will make sense. What you're going to do with Piggyback SEO is you're going to piggyback on other high authority websites. In other words, websites that already have a strong reputation in Google's eyes. So Google really likes YouTube, Google really likes respects press release websites, so PRWeb, WebWire. What you can do is publish content with your target keyword in the title of that content. So with YouTube, it would be a video, and you would have a video with the name of that video, including the keyword that you want to rank for. And by including the keyword in the title, as you know, that shows Google that you're relevant. And since Google already considers these sites high authority or that they have strong reputations, that allows those sites to rank high in the search results for those keywords. So I'll give you a couple examples. This is actually an article that I wrote where the arrow is pointing there. So this is a keyword at the top, how to create a Google AdWords campaign. So people search that keyword. I wrote this article, how to create a profitable Google AdWords campaign, published it on the Kissmetrics blog, which is a website that has a strong reputation. Because of that, because the keyword is in the title and Kissmetrics has a strong reputation, Google naturally ranks that high in the search results. So this is the first page. The first listing there is an ad, so it's really ranked number 3 in the search results. And then here's that same article for a different keyword, Google AdWords campaign, and you can see that article again is ranked number 3. Again, it's because the keyword, that those words are in the title. Obviously, the article is about Google AdWords and how to create a Google AdWords campaign. So the content of the article is highly relevant, and the authority of that website is really high. So that combination means it will rank high. So this piggyback SEO is all about getting content on another website that already has a strong reputation, a high authority, and that allows you to get your information, your content ranked high. And then when somebody clicks through to that article, you would obviously in that article want to have a link back to your website. Okay, technique number 2 is local SEO, and this is a huge opportunity for all businesses that are looking for local clients, customers, or patients. And here's some stats. 20% of searches are local, 40% of mobile searches are local, and 97% of consumers search for local businesses. So because of those stats, Google pushed really hard for this what they call now Google My Business. It used to be Google Plus, local, Google Maps. You've probably heard about. Basically, it's when you do a search for a local company, you'll see the map in the search results, and you'll see a list of all the local businesses. The way you get ranked there is by setting up a Google My Business. And here are the basic 3 steps. Again, it starts with keyword research. Find out what your ideal customers are actually typing into Google, and then make sure that when you search for those keywords, Google is showing the map results with local businesses. If they are, then that is a huge opportunity for you to get ranked locally for those keywords. And you would set up a Google My Business profile, use the keywords to basically find appropriate categories to add to your Google My Business profile. And then the other key factors are what are called citations, and that's mentions of your name, address, and phone number on other websites. And that really comes down to getting listed in a lot of directories. So building up your reputation in the local SEO is all about setting up a lot of business directories, and you also want to work hard to get lots of reviews. And if you follow those steps, you can actually get ranked very quickly in the local results. Here's a success story, just so you see that you can get ranked very quickly. This was Barney. He said about a month ago, started going through the local SEO steps. I've noticed my Google ranking is moving up, and right now I'm at the #1 position for my most important keyword in my area. I'm now receiving phone calls for my listing, and I just started working on a case that came in directly from Google Plus Local. This was back when it was called Google Plus Local, and now it is called Google My Business. Okay, so far we went through the 3 R's: research, relevance, reputation. We went through the 2 tactics that you can use to get ranked in 30 days or less. It was basically the SEO loopholes. And now my favorite, the 4th R is revenue. It's not about getting your website to rank, it's actually getting that traffic to convert on your website. So the #1 goal is not to rank, it's to generate revenue. There's really 3 factors. First, you want to have compelling website copy. That comes down to just understanding sales copy and resonating with your ideal customer persona. You want to make sure you have social proof on your website and a strong CTA, which stands for call to action. Now, the second one is called the lead magnet. In my experience, most businesses do not have a lead magnet, and that's a huge mistake because the majority of people that go to your website are just going to leave and most likely never come back. But if you have what's called a lead magnet, which could be a free report, it's basically some kind of free offer on your website that you're going to offer in exchange for an email address. That's what we're calling a lead magnet. Most typical lead magnets are going to be a free report. If you go to our site, mainstreetroi.com, right on our homepage, we have an internet marketing survival guide. So that's our lead magnet on our homepage. And the whole point of that is rather than having people come to your site and then leave because the majority are not ready to buy from you, you can get a significant percentage of them to request your lead magnet, and now you have contact information that you can use to follow up. And then the third factor is that you're targeting keywords that are actually searched by your prospective customers. Because it is possible to go through this process, get your website ranking for keywords, but if you're targeting the wrong keywords, like research intent keywords, then it's not going to actually translate into any revenue. So it really does start with keyword research and making sure you're targeting the buying intent keywords. If you don't get that right, it won't actually translate into revenue. And then finally, you definitely want to track your return on investment, and I would recommend everyone get set up on Google Analytics. Okay, the 5th R is responsibility. And by that, I mean who is responsible for your SEO. And you have to remember that SEO is not a set it and forget it strategy. It does take an ongoing investment. And I recommend everyone, if you are looking to delegate, outsource, or hire someone, you do want to understand the basics of SEO. And by attending this webinar, you now do have a foundation for how SEO works. And that's really important to understand that before you just completely hand over the keys. And the last slide here is just to remember that Google updates are inevitable, but they actually translate into opportunity for businesses. So every time Google rolls out a new update, that will shake up the search results. And what typically happens is all of the businesses that were using old school tactics will get bumped off the first page, and businesses that were using the correct tactics will actually move up in rankings. And with that, I want to show a poll. Let me get this loaded up. So on your screen, right now, you should see a poll. Are you going to take action and invest in improving your SEO this year? So really just trying to gauge who on the line is looking to implement SEO this year, or if it's not a good fit for your company, that's perfectly fine. There is an option there. So I'm just going to leave it up for 3 more seconds. So 3, 2, 1. I'm going to close that down. So actually 80% are going to take action, implement SEO, and they're going to do it in-house. We have 50% that are going to look for outside help, and 4% say it is not a priority. And the reason I asked that, there were a fair amount that were going to implement SEO and are looking for help. So I do want to quickly go through what I would recommend. If you do need help, the first step would be to get an SEO audit, and we have an SEO audit and consultation service. And here's what's included. We would do a complete SEO audit, obviously more in depth than what we had time to cover in this webinar. You would get a written report, and that is not an auto-generated report. It's actually a report we manually create. You would also get SEO competitor analysis to see how you rank versus your competitors, custom SEO recommendations, as well as a phone call to get all your questions answered and to discuss the results of the audit. If you are interested in that, it is only $300 for the audit and the consultation, and as well as the report. And you just go to mainstreetroi.com/SEO-audit. And Eric just asked, where can you get it? So again, mainstreetroi.com/SEO-audit. And with that, we will open it up to Q&A. And Gary, just saw your question. Is there a replay? Yes, we were recording this, and we will get that replay sent out, I'm hoping by tomorrow.
So it looks like we've got quite a few questions here, and we're going to try to get through as many of them as we can. It looks like the first question is, do Panda, Penguin, and Hummingbird get updated frequently still?
That's a great question. So what Google has been working on is being able to have real-time updates for Panda and Penguin. So Hummingbird was an algorithm overhaul. So the analogy there is they took out the engine, put a new one in. So that was done. That's kind of set. And then they're obviously continually tweaking the algorithm and rolling out what we call these updates. And what they've been trying to work on for a while now is real-time updates for Panda and Penguin. And that is, as I understand, still in progress and should be launched pretty soon, in which case that would eliminate there's that waiting period where they do an update, there's a big shift in the results, and then if you got moved up or down, you would then wait for the next update to then see if any of your changes had a positive or negative impact. So if they did real-time updates, that would eliminate that waiting period, which would be good news in my opinion.
All right, we have another question here. It's how does Google know which sites are relevant to have links from and which ones are not relevant and potentially spammy? So maybe obvious, but many must be harder to spot.
That's a great question. So basically, if you look at each website and you analyze each website, you can look at who's, let's say you just look at our website, mainstreetroi.com. You see who is linking to us. You analyze our website and say, okay, we are not a spammy website. And then we link to another website, and you can analyze all the people that are linking to that particular website and kind of go case by case and isolate any of the, quote, bad neighborhoods. And Google does that. They do complex calculations to actually, they can figure out if there's a high likelihood that you actually own a lot of the websites that are linking to your website, just based on the way that they're linking to each other, kind of the web that you've created or your internet footprint. If that wasn't clear, I can try to clarify again, but.
Yeah, well, is it possible, do you think, to get a list of sites ranked by Google authority?
No, I don't believe you can get a list of sites ranked by authority, and they actually removed what was called PageRank, and that was essentially a measure of authority. It was on a scale from 0 to 10. You could go to you used to be able to go to any website or any web page and calculate the PageRank, which was Google's score. You could simplify it and call it the authority of that page, whereas 8 would be really authoritative and a 1 would be lower quality. They removed that, so we're kind of flying blind in terms of being able to measure what Google thinks in terms of any given page's authority.
All right, and here's another one. How can we know if an inbound link is helpful or detrimental to our site?
So it's pretty obvious when you go to a site that's spammy. So you just want to go to the website or go to the page that is linking to you, and just make sure it is a legitimate website. If it's a legitimate business directory, you don't have to worry about that. It's usually pretty obvious when a site. So another place to look where it can become obvious is the blog. So if you're getting linked to by a website and it's a blog article, I would recommend looking at the main blog page to look at all the different articles. And if it's just totally random about every single topic under the sun, that's probably a spammy type site that only exists to link to other websites, and that's basically called a link network.
All right, and looks like we have time for one more. It's can we always see the updates soon after they recur? So I'm thinking they're asking how soon you'd see the results after an update.
That's a great question, and Google tends to roll out their updates. By that I mean they won't just do a change across all of their servers across the world. They will just do it in batches, kind of gauge how it's going. That's really to mitigate risk on their end, make sure the results are the way they expected it, and then they'll start rolling it out to more and more areas. So an update typically takes more than one day to kind of roll out. It could be a week or two, and then once once it's totally rolled out, then you should at that point see how you've moved up or down.
All right. Looks like people are giving you really positive feedback, so thanks for that, everybody. Everyone should watch for the recording from us. We'll send that out in an email today or tomorrow, and then you can go to our website, conversa.com, go to the resources at the top of the webinar, and we encourage you to take Phil up on his offer here. Also, if you go to conversa.com, you see a big button that says Start Free Trial, and you can actually do a free trial of our product before you start to pay for it, which is awesome. Do you have anything else to add, Phil?
Yeah, the only final thing for everyone still on the line, when we do close this out, you'll get a super quick survey. And it's really just to get feedback on how we can improve future webinars. So I'd really, really appreciate it if you just it should only take 1 or 2 minutes to complete that survey.
All right. Well, thanks, Phil. Thanks again, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And yeah, thanks, Phil. We'll see you later.
Thank you. All right, take care, everyone.